Hello, Lakers fans. This is Wilson. The Lakers' first round opponent for the 2025 NBA playoffs is set. The Lakers will be facing the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves earned the sixth seed today after they beat Utah, and Golden State lost in overtime to the Clippers. So Golden State fell to 7. They'll play in the play-in against Memphis, uh, and the Lakers, of course, are the third seed. And they'll get Minnesota. The Clippers, as I said, they'll be the 5. They'll play Denver in the first round, so that'll be an interesting series. But yeah, if the Warriors had won, they would have been the sixth seed, and we would have gotten, as I think as Billy Mack was saying today, probably the most hyped first round playoff series in history. Lakers, Warriors, Curry versus LeBron. You got Luka, you got Jimmy Butler, Draymond, Austin Reeves. It's a really star-studded series. But instead, it'll be the Thunder. The Lakers lost in Portland today, 108-91. Of course, the Lakers sat, pretty much all of their the the starters and the key role players. So there was no, obviously all the starters sat. Also no Gabe Vincent, no Jared Vanderbilt, no Dorian Finney-Smith. Dalton Connect had 27 to cap his rookie year and 8 rebounds. Bronny played 38 minutes, but he only had 4 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists. Portland was without pretty much all their key guys, too. No Sharp, no Simons, no Avdia, no Scoot Henderson. So that happened. Sorry, it was 109 to 81, I should say. And now we move on to the playoffs, and it was against a Minnesota team so the Lakers finished the season at 50-32. Minnesota finishes 49-33. So the third and sixth seed separated by only one game. Of course, the Lakers had nothing to play for today. They'd already clinched the third seed on Friday against who did we play on Friday? That was against against the Rockets. The Rockets set pretty much all their guys. Jalen Green played the first half, but the Lakers went in there, and Luka had a huge game. Didn't even play the fourth quarter, but had 39 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and 31 minutes. Shot 13 out of 19, 5 out of 9 from 3. So he's been heating up, man. And of course, in the game against Dallas, he had 45. But if you look at his recent game logs, starting with the last 5 for Luka against New Orleans, 10 of 21. Against OKC, 11 for 20. Against OKC again, 7 for 15 the game he got ejected. Against Dallas, 16 of 28, and then against Houston, 13 of 19. From 3, we're talking going backwards again, 4 of 10. From 3 against New Orleans, 5 of 11. Against OKC, 3 of 7 against OKC, 7 of 10 against Dallas, and 5 of 9 against Houston. So he seems to have rounded or be rounding into playoff form, and his efficiency is starting to kick up and get closer to, so in the end, he shot exactly 45% from the field this season. Only played 50 games, but ended up kind of on an uptick now, 43.8% in 28 games with the Lakers. And as I said, it's been trending upwards lately. So he's looking closer to what he Dallas Luka. And we're going to need it because the playoffs are here. And this is a Minnesota team that, they're a good team. They kind of started kind of slow. Also, they had to adjust to a trade that happened just right before training camp. They had a team last year that made the Western Conference Finals, and they made a major move, shipping out Karl Anthony Towns and bringing back Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. Uh, Julius missed some time due to injury, but in all, he played 68 games. He averaged 19 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Of course, they have the great Anthony Edwards, who had a problem with his he shot 10 threes a game this year, but he made 39.5%, so basically 40% of them. So it's actually kind of hard to argue with that. I just, sometimes he settles for threes too much. It seems when you're a great athlete like that, you like to see guys be a little bit more aggressive and take the ball to the basket a little bit more. But when you're being that efficient, shooting that many threes, it's actually kind of hard to argue with it. So there's him, and there's Randall, there's Nas Reed, the sixth man. I think he was sixth man of the year last year. He had another good, solid year, 14 points and 6 rebounds a game. Jade McDaniels, the 3-and-D wing. Rudy Gobert, we all know who he is and what he's done. I mentioned DiVincenzo. He came off the bench this year, averaged 12 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Mike Conley at this point is, he's not what he was. He's my age. He's going to be 37 if he's not 37. Already is 37. The old head out of Ohio State. But if you look at this, and Nikhil Walker-Alexander, another rotation piece for them. So that's their top 8. That's basically who you can expect to see in the playoffs in this series. Edwards, Randall, Reed, McDaniels, Gobert, DiVincenzo, Alexander Walker, and Conley. Nobody else for them played more than 13 minutes a game. So that's who the Timberwolves are, and they played better. Like I said, in the second half of the season, they were on a real run at one point, right around the time Randall first came back. They've won 7 of their last 8. They won 7-1 this month to climb all the way up to that 6th seed. And now they get the Lakers. And the Lakers, as I said, they won 50 games this year. First year under J.J. Redick. I would say some seismic moves. Started with, the D'Angelo Russell trade that I think everybody, as Austin Reeves said, kind of, when the second trade happened, you kind of saw the D'Lo trade coming. I was against it at the time, but it's really worked like a charm. We got back. We got back DFS, and Shake Milton doesn't play regular rotation minutes. But DFS is just, he's been like a perfect piece. I don't know if JJ requested him perfectly, or requested him specifically, but he's been exactly what the doctor ordered for what he brings defensively as a 3-and-D player. And that worked. And then obviously, of course, the big one, maybe the most shocking, definitely the most shocking trade of all time, Luka for Anthony Davis. And what that has done is raised the ceiling of the Lakers. The Lakers were good before and trending upwards, but it raised the ceiling, made us smaller. But, Bill Simmons, he likes to call this Lakers team big because they're so big on the wings. You got Luka at 6'7", Austin at 6'5", LeBron at 6'9", Rui at 6'9". So you got big guys 1 through 4. Most teams don't have 4, guys that size out on the perimeter. And Luka's a great rebounder for his size. LeBron is a good rebounder for his size. And they have the strategy of they don't try to box out against bigger players. They try to tap it out so a teammate can get the rebound. And against this team here in Minnesota, And Julius Randle not the biggest guy. His rebounds were way down this year because he had to move outside to create space for Ant Man. Um, in the past, he's been someone who's been a double-digit rebounder. This year, only averaged 7 rebounds a game. But um, now Gobert is obviously a problem down there. Nas Reed, I mean, these guys are taller. Reed is like a 6'10". Gobert obviously a 7-footer. So, I mean, it's big guys, but Gobert is really the only guy that they have that plays like a big man, you know. So uh, it's an interesting matchup. I think if you look at it, I mean, I was so worried that the Lakers were going to get the Warriors in the first round that getting the Timberwolves instead almost feels like a victory in itself. It's like a relief. You know, I'm just so terrified of Steph Curry. That playoff series that we had against them a couple of years ago. I mean, I imagine. I said it before. I imagine that's what it must have been like for teams that had to go against Kobe and Kobe's prime. You know, just the fear and the anxiety that playing against a player like that puts into the opposing team, into the opposing fan base. But now we don't have to worry about that, at least for the first round. And it's been a team. They're good, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I just looking at it on paper, sizing it up. This Lakers team with LeBron and Luka and Austin, the way they've been playing in a 7-game series, I think most people are going to pick the Lakers to win this series. Now, I've been known to pick against the Lakers every chance I get. In the past, it was because I really didn't think the Lakers were going to win these series. I think in 2023, I picked the Lakers to lose every series. Beat Memphis in the first round. I picked Memphis. We beat Golden State in the second round. I picked Golden State. And then we lost the conference finals. I picked Denver. I picked Denver to beat them in the first round last year, and they did. And now this year, I was definitely going to pick Golden State if Golden State had got the 6th seed. But now it's Minnesota, and I want to pick Minnesota just for the reverse jinx of it. But it's like it's hard to. It's like I would pick against the Lakers thinking that they're really going to lose and hoping I'll be wrong, and hoping that it would be reverse jinx, right? But it wasn't fully intentional, right? Meaning I really thought the Lakers were going to lose. This time, I don't really think Minnesota is going to beat the Lakers in this series, but I want to pick Minnesota anyway, just for reverse jinx purposes. But it's hard for me to say that because really, my heart is not in it. Honestly, I look at this. If I'm just being completely honest, I look at the way this is going to break down. The Lakers being the 3, that means that in the second round they would get the winner of. So Houston is the 2 seed, and they'll face the winner of Golden State and Memphis. Now, Houston is a young team. They've never even been in the playoffs before this team. With this collection of players, so. I'm for sure they would. I mean, when you have a young, see, the playoffs are just a different beast, and so when you're looking at these matchups, you know, it's easier to base on what you've seen during the regular season. But the playoffs are just completely different, you know. And Houston has no. Now Memphis is pretty much a mess, right? Golden State, Houston just beat them and held Curry to 3 points. Right, so you got a Golden State team that when they were playing the Lakers, they I commented that their lateral movements seem to be back. So meaning they're playing fast and they're moving from side to side. Their foot speed is back, and but against Houston, Houston has probably the most athletic team in the league from top to bottom. They got these young guys, Jalen Green and Amin Thompson, and all these guys who can get up and down. Um, so uh, I don't know if that would be it wouldn't have the same type of advantage they have against this Lakers team that has some guys who are a little more who aren't as fleet of foot, right? So there's that. So, but I'm looking at it. I'm going, okay. Well, I think we beat Minnesota. We get Houston in the second round. If it's Houston in the second round, uh, unless I don't know if Golden State beat Houston, I don't know. But I was going to pick the Warriors to beat the Lakers, but they just if the Warriors they lost today to the Clippers, and what, as David Dennis said, it felt like a game seven before the playoffs even start, and it did play out like a game seven. Um, as good as they have looked with Jimmy, they lost to the Spurs recently. Like I said, they lost to the Rockets, and now they lost to the Clippers. They've lost three of their last five when they needed to be winning as many games as they could. So they've kind of cooled off just a little bit, and they're an older team. They have obviously Curry 36, 37, Jimmy 35 or so, uh, 35, 36, Draymond 34, 35. So these are older guys, but it's their experience versus, if they're there anyway, their experience versus Houston's youth. Who knows what could happen? But and then at the same time, like I said, I was going to pick the Warriors to beat the Lakers, but um, that game that they beat us in, Luka didn't have the best game, and Pajemski played out of his mind. Now that's canceled out by the fact that you get playoff Jimmy, and today Jimmy was playoff Jimmy. He had 30 points. Since he's been in the way Jimmy plays at this point in his career is he kind of just picks his spots. Today he had 30 points and 9 assists. Against us, he didn't do much, but he made a couple key plays at the end. But he had 30 points and 9 assists. That's more like what you can expect from Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. So even if Pajemski doesn't hit 8 threes like he hit against us, Pajemski's a good player, but it's not that good. That's not his game. Um, how much would we really? I don't know. Like I said, I'm pessimistic in nature not just because that's how I am, but it's like I try to protect myself from the pain I would feel if I end up being disappointed. So, but basically what I'm trying to say is that looking at this bracket, it's a good bracket for the Lakers matchup wise, I would say, especially if Houston is there in the second round, right? And they are the 2 seed. So if Houston is there in the second round, um, and I think Golden State, it would, the worst time to face Golden State would be right now. But now they just had this slugfest with the Clippers, so that's already going to make them a little bit more. Even if they had won, it would make them a little bit more vulnerable against us. So we can maybe get like a nice little head start where they try to catch their. The games don't start until, when does the first round start? Let me see here. So we don't play until, so we don't play, they would have enough time. What the heck? Who knows when the first game is going to be? ESPN doesn't even have it. Well, I guess that doesn't really matter. They don't have enough time. They'd have to play an extra game. But, I just feel like the worst time to face them is right now because their key guys are older. So you have to by the time the second round gets here, they'll be a little bit more worn down. So if you consider that, and then you look at it and you go, okay, well, let's say we beat we beat Minnesota, then we beat Houston um, or Golden State or Memphis. If man, who knows Memphis? I don't think Memphis is gonna. Uh, I think I expect Golden State to beat Memphis, and I expect Memphis to lose. Basically, get handled by OKC in the play-in if Memphis is even there. Um, but if it's if it's Minnesota and then Houston, OKC, Houston, Golden State in the second round instead of the first round, and or Memphis or whatever, right? Which I don't think it's going to be Memphis. Those are some favorable matchups for the Lakers. And then conference finals against OKC. Now OKC is the OKC team that went 68-14 during the regular season. They had a differential of point differential of plus 12.8, which is the highest ever. 68-14 is rarefied air. Like we saw, so Golden State went 67-15 twice in that 3-year run. The other year they went 73 and um, and 9. We've seen teams, the Mavericks that one year I think went 67-15 in 2000 in 2000 and I think it was 2007, right? So we've seen more teams get to 67 than we've seen to get to 68. The only teams that have gotten to 68 wins are the Warriors in 2016 when they went 73-9. You're talking about the 96 and 97 Bulls, obviously. And then you're talking about the 72 Lakers, who went 69-13. And you're talking about the 1971 Bucks, who went 68-14. So those are the only teams that have won 68 games. Of course, the Bulls won 72-10 and 96. And then they went 69-13 in 97. So these Thunder are in rarefied air. The guys were saying that they don't have enough experience, right? But they were in the playoffs last year. They did lose to Luka and the Mavericks, so that is some experience. Now, if we get if they get Luka again, and it's with the Lakers, and the Lakers just last week went into OKC, right, and put it on the Blazers. Sorry, not the Blazers, the Thunder. They played twice in 3 days, both times in I'm sorry, it was Sunday that we played them the first time. Yeah, so that was last week. We beat them by 27. It was a no contest. Then they came back 2 days later on Tuesday and beat us by 16, but it was close. Luka got kicked out, and the Thunder pulled away. It was closer than the final score indicated. So that first game, and of course the second, that Luka ejection was fraudulent. The league rescinded the second technical. But if you look at a Thunder team that Luka has, historically had his way with, and that we just put hands on basically a week ago. You look at that, and then now if we were to somehow reach the NBA Finals, that would be. Basically, if this Lakers team is healthy and they're clicking, they can play with anybody, right? The Lakers can play with anybody when they're clicking on all cylinders, and that's just the way it is. So there's nobody you can really go and go, okay, well, if the Lakers win, then they just don't have a chance. That's not gonna happen, you know. So, but we just have to see what happens, man. And uh, at the end, I'll make my NBA Finals prediction. But right now, I want to get to my awards ballot. Uh, I mentioned obviously that Shai Gilgeous is my MVP. Averaged 33, 5 and 6 for a 68 win, as I said. Um, OKC ball club. Um, efficiency numbers were superb. As always, 52% from the field, 38% from three, 90% from the 3-point line. My runner-up is the Joker, who averaged a triple-double, 30 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals. She also averaged 2 steals. Shot 58% from the field, 41% from three, and 80% from the line. I mean, he's just phenomenal, but he already has 3 MVPs. Did they get to 50 wins today? Let me see. Yeah, they got to 50 wins, but you know, I mean, he's not the MVP over Shea. I'm sorry. He had a great year. He had the best season. He always has the best season, but I don't think he's the MVP this year. I thought Shea should have won the MVP last year too. You know, but you know, Joker's reached a point where he's one of those guys so you can give the MVP to him every year. But you know, I'm always gonna reward winning, especially when winning is met with or matched by Michael Jordan like numbers, which is what Shea, you know, did this season, just as he did last season. So there's that. That's my MVP. My rookie of the year is Stephon Castle, from the Spurs, and he finished his rookie season with averages of 14.6 points, 3.6 rebounds, 4.1 assists. I'm actually not sure if this was updated yet after the final game. He had 28 and 6 today, but basically, you know, looking at 15 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists for a rookie. And the Spurs got to, let me see, 34 wins, even with Wemby being out. So a good year. And then my runner-up is Zachary, or is it Zakari? Rissaker? I'm not even sure how you say his name. But, you know, yeah, he was the first pick in the draft. He had a good rookie year, man. He averaged 13 points a game. You know, I like the kid. Only played about 25 minutes a game. Shot 46% from the field, 35% from three. And I think he kind of came on strong there to close the year. What was he averaging? Well, he averaged 15 points. I don't know, he was up and down, I guess. He averaged 15 points a game though in April to end the season. But yeah, so Castle and Rissaker. I was like, it's Zachary, not Zakari. My defensive player of the year is Draymond Green. I don't know what else to tell you. The guy just I think somebody else was. Who else was it that was in the? Wasn't it somebody else who was like kind of leading the pack, and then they got hurt, and they kind of took them out of the running. I forgot who it was now, but yeah, it's got to be Draymond, man. He just has the biggest nightly impact, and it's crazy at his age. You know, would he be the oldest defensive player of the year? I don't know. I mean, he has to be one of them. He's how old is Draymond now? I said 34, 35. Let me see. Draymond's 35 years old, man. You know, turned 35 years old last month. Still defending at the highest level. And And my runner-up is Amin Thompson in just his second year. Amin Thompson, he has Defensive Players of the Year in his future. My sixth man of the year is Malik Beasley for the Pistons. Averaged 16 a game off the bench for them. My runner-up is Peyton Pritchard, who averaged 14 off the game for the 14 a game off the bench for the Celtics. My most improved player is Cade Cunningham. Averaged 26 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, 47, 36, 85 splits, which is up from, it wasn't a big deal. He's been a good player, but his team got so much better this year. Last year he averaged 23, 4, and 8. But I don't know, what they won last year, like 15 games, something like that. This year they won 44. So he's the most improved player, and there is no runner-up. I couldn't think of anybody else who, belonged, who had made any type of meaningful jump, I would say. But Cade went to very talented player to All-NBA player this year. Speaking of All-NBA, my All-NBA first team. So if I'm being conformist, right? If I'm being a conformist, my All-NBA team first team is Shea, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum. Remember now, these are positionless rosters, right? So it used to be 2 guards, 2 forwards in the center. Now it's positionless. So my first team, if I'm being conformist, is Shea, Mitchell, Tatum, Giannis, and Jokic. Second team is Brunson, Cade Cunningham, LeBron, Jalen Williams, and Karl Anthony Towns. And third team is Darius Garland, Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards, Evan Mobley, and Alperen Sengun. Now, if I'm being non-conformist, right, and I'm forgetting about narratives, right, because really, Donovan Mitchell, he just played on the best team in the East, and he's their best player, but numbers-wise, he averaged like 24 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, wasn't wildly efficient. As a betting man and somebody who watched him, or not watched him, but followed his box scores, his live box scores, all throughout, whenever I had money on him. It's like on the one hand, obviously he's not a selfish player because he didn't care about his numbers. They have their system that they run there. They have a great offense in Cleveland. And so he basically just would only dial it up like when he really had to, like against the Celtics or whatever, right? They were so good. Their point differential was 9.7 this year, right? So he basically just, he did what he had to do when he had to do it. But I really, it's almost like I think he's going to get that spot when the teams come out officially. But it's almost like by default, right? And the other guy is Jason Tatum. The Celtics won 61 games, and Tatum averaged 27, 8, 6, whatever it was. But really, I don't feel that crazy about it. Yeah, he's a great player. But if you really want to ask me who the 5 best players were in the NBA this year, regardless of position, it was Shea, LeBron, Giannis, Jokic, and Karl Anthony Towns, I would say, But so that would mean that I would put Braun and Cat in there. Braun had a great year at age 40. Got to 70 games. You only need to play 75 to be eligible for these for postseason awards, or to be eligible for awards. For the season, Braun averaged 24.4 points, 7.8 rebounds, 8.2 assists, 51% from the field, 38% from 3, 78% from the free throw line. He was fantastic. The Lakers won 50 games, and he was him and Austin were the steadying forces for this team all season. And then you had Cat. Cat played 72 games, 24.4 points, 12.8 rebounds, 3.1 assists, shot 53% from the field, 42% from 3, 83% from the free throw line. And the Knicks won 51 games, and that's with Jalen Brunson missing some time there at the end with that ankle sprain. I mean, that's a hell of a season, you know. Um, so, uh, man, in fact, Cat, well, Sabonis led the league in rebounding. I mean, Cat was tied with Joker for second. They both averaged 12.8 rebounds a game. Was that a career high for Cat? Let me see. Career high rebounds for Cat? Let me see. Oh, boy. Indeed, it was 12.8 career high in rebounds. So he went to New York, and the question was he tough enough? But he played like it this year. Cat's been a great rebounder in the past. He had to move outside to make room for Ant and Gobert in Minnesota. But early in his career, he was somebody who was getting 12 rebounds a game every year. So hell of a year for him. Now, once again, non-conformers. If we're going second team, that means so that's my non-conformers first team. That makes the second team Brunson, Cade, Mitchell, Tatum, and Jalen Williams. So I bump Mitchell and Tatum down. And then it's third team is Garland, Edwards, Curry, Mobley, and Shingle. So that's the same as the conformance team. My all defensive first team, I settled on Chris Dunn, Evan Mobley, Draymond Green, Amin Thompson, and Rudy Gobert. So again, positionless. Second team, Drew Holiday, Dyson Daniels, averaged 3 steals a game. Jaren Jackson, Alex Caruso, and Giannis. Right. Now back to these. Oh, did I mention my coach of the year? Yeah. So coach of the year. Did I mention that one? Coach of the year, Kenny Atkinson. I ended up giving it to Kenny Atkinson because I was going to give it to. I was low key going to give it to. I was going to give it to JB Bickerstaff, and if they had won the day and got to 45 wins, that's what I was going to do. But they only got to 44, so 45 is the arbitrary benchmark that I came up with. It's just, I guess it's a nice halfway between 40 and 50, and but instead they finished with 44 wins, up 30 wins from last season, right? But Kenny took the Cavaliers from good to great. He took them to 64 wins, 9.7, as I said, point differential. And then also, so I ended up giving it to Kenny. And I had Mark Dagnall. I haven't had him second, so I had to bump JB all the way down to fourth just because he did one more game. Had Ime third for taking the Rockets and taking them from I don't know if they were playing last year. They won 40 games, but taking them to 52 wins this year. Then they just rest their guys the last couple. Wait, no, I think they actually played that. Houston actually played their guys today against Denver. But anyway, he got them to 52 wins, and he's great. But Dagnall was second. He got them to 60 wins. Like I said, they just had a historic season. You have to give him credit for that. And I was with, Holmgren in his second year, missing a big chunk of the first part of the season after he had a hot start, and then he got hurt. He broke his hip. Was it his hip, right, or his pelvis or something, and missed all that time. And they still won 68 games. So anybody who doesn't think Shea is the MVP, I don't know what to tell you. So I have him second. You could argue that he should win it back to back because he won it also last year. And then so I had Kenny, and then I had Dagnall, and I had Ime. I had JB 4. So that's that. Now, as far as like I said, NBA Finals. I have the Thunder with the season that they've had. I'm just going to go ahead and put them in the finals, right? Because what the hell? Could the Lakers make it? Yeah, I think they could, but that's not going to be my pick. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully the Lakers do make it. But I'm going to go ahead and pencil OKC in there with the season that they've had. I think they'll face the Celtics. I just think the Celtics can. I mean, it's always harder to win that second one, man. The second one is harder than the first one. But I think they'll be there. They got 61 wins, and I know Jaylen Brown is a little banged up with his knee, but I think the question for the only real threat to them is Cleveland. I saw where somebody said that they compared this Cleveland team to that Hawks team that went 61 and 21. I think that was 2015, and got swept by LeBron in the playoffs. So this Cleveland team, but they're really good. I think they'll at least be in the conference finals. But I think I want to think that I like to think that Boston can get to a level that Cleveland maybe can't get to. I think Cleveland is. I think Boston's size. At the end of the day, when your best player is 6'10", and the other best player is 6'1", like Mitchell is. I think that that's always going to be an advantage for the. I've always said that. The bigger your best player is, the more of an advantage your team has. So, I think Boston's going to be there, and Cleveland has 2 6'1" guards in their backcourt. That's a problem. They've won all these games, but I'm sorry, Mitchell is 6'3", I should say, but still, that's a small backcourt. So I think Boston's still going to be there in the end, and they're going to be Boston and OKC. And at the end of the day, man, I think the Celtics are going to be the first team to go back to back since the Warriors in 2017 and 2018. I think they're going to do it. It wouldn't surprise me if they don't, because it's hard to do. It's always been hard to do. I mean, Jordan made it look easy, but that's Jordan. Kobe and Shaq won 3 in a row, but that's Kobe and Shaq, right? So I'm picking Boston, but I'm doing it. Take it how you will. Who really knows? That's the NBA in 2025, right? Last year Boston was a dominant team. They were head and shoulders with everybody else. But this OKC team is so good. This Lakers team has such a high ceiling with Bron and Luka and Austin, and this Cleveland team is really good. So you just don't really know what's going to happen. But that is my pick: Boston over the Thunder in 6 games in the NBA Finals. And I know that's going to make Big Mitch upset, but it is what it is. Hopefully these guys will get on here with me tomorrow and we can get there. Their takes and their opinions is before the playoffs start for the Lakers. But with that being said, man, I'm not going to hold you guys any longer. I'm just going to say goodbye and go Lakers.